Okay, a bit of an impromptu video here. I've been looking for... Oh, well, there it is. Just randomly find a survivor. After 5+ minutes of looking. And I'm gonna slug him out just to make sure he knows what it feels like to just be locked into a game and not be able to progress anything. But this got me thinking, like, where's the killer's end-game anti-hostage mechanic? They just don't have one. The survivors have one for when the killer does too good, because it's like, oh, you don't get all the gens done? Hatch spawns, free escape if you press that button. Then if you close the hatch as killer, so you actually were able to overcome their second chance after probably their other second chances of that game, then the gates power. So they have more chances to get out. And also to prevent taking the game hostage. And then sometimes whenever, let's say there's one person left, you were barely able to get the guy, and he gets both the gates and hatch because they were able to do all the gens to power the gates, and you could probably patrol the gates if you're lucky. But then the game's gotta give them hatch anyway, even though all the gens are done anyway. And you can totally go for the gate. Nope, they've gotta get another chance through that. And I'm not doing this right now to hope I get a 4K and for this other guy to come out. I'm just, again, punishing the guy on the ground for doing exactly what he was doing to me. And, you know, this person never has to come out of hiding until this guy bleeds out on the ground for 4 minutes. Theoretically, I'd never find these guys. I just found him out of pure freaking chance. And this is also what the MMR system encourages, because it's literally just kills and escapes. So there is zero incentive to not do this. Other than getting bored out of your mind, but some people find this entertaining because, oh, there the person is. For some reason, people feel they have to do this because the escape is that important to them. I'm sure you've heard that kind of speech before when people are saying, why do you need the kill so bad? Why do you need the escape so bad? And I literally just saw the person, but she seems to have disappeared off the face of the earth. There she is again. Because her scratch marks literally disappeared as I was looking at her. Here's the chase that should have happened 4 minutes ago. Or sooner. And as you see, same result ensues anyway. It's just we wasted 5 minutes of each other's time. Because I actually wanted to play the game and these guys wanted to wait it out and not progress generators. Didn't record it, but I've already had several games tonight where, and in the previous days, where hope was not lost after they got to this point where there's a 3-gen or something and there's like 2 people left. One guy could totally just use all those stupid loops that litter these maps with the pallets and the windows and all that to easily take me on like a 2-gen chase even if they wanted to, because it's happened. And I've actually been gullible enough to go on those chases. Of course, only with hindsight did I know it was going to take that long, but it's what happened. But hope is not lost. survivors need to stop being handheld into thinking that, you know, I'm owed a hatch escape if I didn't win the normal way. No, you're not. Because I'm not even owed a 4K. I want to go for a 4K. Because it's just a complete win. Why would you go for a little more than a draw if you can go for a complete win? I just don't understand how that's so hard for people to grasp. But honestly, we need a new in-game mechanic to stop crap like this from happening. Because first they were holding the game hostage, literally, and then I'm technically doing it. Because this guy is gonna bleed out, so it's technically not holding the game hostage, it's just being toxic, but give toxic, get toxic. I could literally hold the game hostage if she were to get up and I would just stand in this corner with her here and she couldn't move. That's holding the game hostage. And forcing her to DC is her only option. So most of the time when you hear people say, killers just hold the game hostage, like, ah, that's so fun to do, no. You mostly see survivors doing that, not the killer. As they were doing this time. If I hadn't found that guy, if he had hidden a bit better instead of a freaking snowman, we'd still be potentially waiting to down somebody as I'm searching the map. Where is she anyway? Here. She's also looking for the hatch, but I'm not going to give it to her. She might be finding out where it is. No, she's going away from it. I'm not going to close it either in case she has crutch adrenaline. Because for some reason closing hatch powers their adrenaline as well, not even doing all the gens. But yeah, this is so freaking boring. Why is this allowed to go on? And I thought people were being pretty cheesy when they said, why don't they put up an option like other games? Not to vote kick. Which some survivor mains probably would want, because they'd kick the killer or something. But you'd put up a vote or whatever, like, do you want to just call the game quits or whatever? And if both sides said yeah, then you could do it. Or something like that. But that was just not cool at all. Having to make me wait 5 minutes to down somebody. And then the one guy I could speak with isn't even in the lobby, so thankfully I won't be getting any hate messages from him. They had the tools to overcome a 3-gen as well. I just killed their potential energy user. And then the last guy was this guy, who also had distortion sprint burst. Hey, I wonder if he gets hatch escapes a bunch, because it's probably the only way he freaking gets out. And then this guy with self-care, spine chill, and premonition, by the way. Not just one or the other. Instructions on his toolbox. And he's the one who put the hatch offering at. And he was waiting where the hatch would spawn, by the way. He was waiting for the other guy to DC, and the guy didn't. Either out of selfish reasons, or he just didn't know that that's what the guy was going for. But yeah, my proposed solutions to a new in-game mechanic are simple, and they are as follows. Either do True Talent's in-game chase idea where, hey, you're the last survivor alive. I'm adding a step here that he didn't think of. You should show the survivor's aura to the killer until chase initiates. Just so that the killer can actually start the in-game chase. And either once the chase starts or once their aura is initially shown, cross map, whatever we need to do, even if they're in a locker. Then the percentage of pallets gets restored to the map equal to the number of gens that were completed. So it's like you did 4 gens and it was actually a close game, you get 40%, 80% of the pallets respawned. Because that would make it to where a lot of those strong pallets, potentially god pallets, would respawn. You'd be able to go on that chase. And this whole idea is after 2 minutes, or not even that, just 1 minute. You can last in chase for 1 minute, 60 seconds. Then the exits will automatically open and you can run out. If the killer can't get you by then either they were bad or the loops were just that broken to where they physically couldn't get you. But that's a game balance problem, both of those things I just said. But either way, that solution would probably be one of the best that I've heard, because it actually involves the in-game collapse starting, and you actually having an engaging conclusion, which is a chase, not just hiding or patrolling gates, which are freaking boring. My idea would be, heck, if we're gonna make an in-game anti-game holding hostage mechanic, make it killer-sided. Instead of being free escape hatch, which should be taken away, then it's just like, okay, you guys don't want to make a certain percentage of gens or anything done within a certain amount of time period, you get your aura shown permanently to the killer through lockers and everything, because you were basically wanting to hold the game hostage and weren't wanting it to come to a natural end. So now you get punished, and the killer can actually end the game, assuming they can actually get you, which they eventually will, because they have the ability to break pallets, bloodlust 3, so on and so forth. But that's what I'd suggest. And I also suggested someone else's idea, so you can't come at me with, oh, you just want the game to be in your image or whatever. Because people will play that card against people who have good ideas for the game. But straight up, hatch needs to be replaced. I'm not saying straight up just take hatch out of the game and then don't do anything else, because that will actually lead to more people playing like this, where they just hold the game hostage, not showing themselves to the killer, not doing gens, nothing. And I've been here talking this long that I've been disconnected from the host. But I'm not saying to just remove the hatch. Obviously replace it with just something better. If not my idea, then something. Like, there are infinite possibilities of good ideas you could have that aren't just, oh, I find this thing on the ground, press a button, free escape. Because it's not killer-sided, as some people have the audacity to say. Because they say the killer moves faster, therefore they're bound to close the hatch most of the time. But if you've seen anything from my matches, the survivors get out through hatch at least half the time. Nothing to do with me. I've even raced to the hatch with both of us running there at the same time, and they just vacuum in before I can press the prompt. Because that's just another advantage survivors have surrounding it. They can DC tech into it, they can not do any of the gens and get it. It just needs to go.